Hey friends, I'm Chris Schufel with Chris in the Classroom, and today I'm going to tell you everything that's wrong with you. Tell me if this has ever happened to you. Has anyone ever pointed out something that you did wrong, but they did it in a way and in a tone that was kind of mean? Or has anyone ever tried to tell you to change something and you think, you could have been a little nicer about that? Or has anyone ever told you something like your shoe is untied, or your clothes don't match, or you have a booger hanging out of your nose, and you think, well, that was rude? Hardly anyone likes to be told negative things, especially if it's done in a way that we think is rude, sarcastic, mean, or feels like we're being attacked in some way. But sometimes we will be criticized, all of us. Now, criticizing or criticism is when we find fault in something or someone. We see what's wrong with it, we find the problems or the imperfections in someone or something, and we point it out. We tell someone, we talk about it. We all criticize, and we all get criticized. Now, there's two types of criticism. There's constructive criticism and there's destructive criticism. Constructive criticism is good. It's meant to help us improve. Like a coach points out what we do wrong in practice so we can get better. A teacher points out what we do wrong on an assignment so we can do better on the test. A friend tells you that your hair's a mess so that you can go fix it and look good for that certain someone. Constructive criticism is meant to be helpful and comes from a good place. Destructive criticism, on the other hand, is meant to tear down and hurt someone. Yeah, it still points out the flaws and the problems and the mistakes, but there's no care for the person's improvement. For example, somebody calls you stupid because you failed a test, or they call you butterfingers because you dropped a couple of passes on the field, or they say something like, well, if you had practiced more, you wouldn't have messed up, okay? Those things are still pointing out problems, but they're not helpful. So how can we deal with someone who is criticizing us? Well, first, let's start with constructive criticism. How can we handle that? I mean, it's simple, really. First, be resilient. Don't get upset. Yeah, nobody likes to have their flaws and mistakes pointed out, but it's just going to happen. The thing to do is to understand that if someone's giving you constructive, helpful criticism, take it as good feedback. Think about it this way. They want to help you get better. They want to help you improve. And the only way to do that is by fixing what's wrong. So don't get upset and be open to that feedback. Second, think about what was said and examine how you can use that feedback to improve. What changes can you make? What can you do different next time? What can you learn from this? Do you need some extra help? But also consider this, even though it's never comfortable to hear all the things that you did wrong, think about the good things that'll come from making just a couple of changes. What will you be able to accomplish if you just improve a few things? And third, remember the golden rule. Treat them the way you want to be treated, no matter how they treat you first. So what's that look like in this situation? You thank them. That's right. You thank them. Whatever they say, you thank them for taking the time to pay enough attention to you to try to help you improve. They could have just ignored you. They could have just let you keep on failing. They could have just let you embarrass yourself. But they didn't. They took time to point things out, and you could and should be thankful. Now, I know that's all fine and great, but what about dealing with someone who's giving you destructive criticism? How do you handle that? They're telling you everything you're doing wrong. They're insulting you. They're nagging you about it. They're not really trying to help you. And they don't really care if you get embarrassed. What then? It's going to sound crazy, but you do the same things. One, be resilient and don't get upset. No matter what they say or how they say it, stay calm and don't get upset. Because two, you need to think of their criticism as helpful. Maybe they're not being helpful, or maybe they're not being kind in the way they're saying things, but figure out what you can take away from it. If someone's using destructive criticism toward you, Rather than focusing on their rude tone or their mean words, think to yourself, what can I take from this? Is there something I really can improve on? Is there something I can get better at? How can you use their criticism to improve and make yourself better? When you see things that way, it becomes all about making yourself the best you that you can be. And third, use the golden rule and thank them. Maybe they didn't mean it in a helpful way, but it doesn't matter. Thank them anyway. Sincerely thank them for taking the time to point out the things that you need to improve on. Tell them that you're going to work on it so that they don't have to worry about you anymore. And thank them for their help. Well, that's it, friends. Thanks for watching, and until next time, class is dismissed. Oh, my back. Oh, my back.